And good evening, everyone. A seventh night of protest tonight in Rochester. You are taking a live look right now of some of the scene downtown to protest the death of Daniel Prude tonight. Many in this crowd have been cheering the huge shakeup at the RPD and the police chief's decision to retire. Some are calling on the mayor to do the same tonight. And good evening again. Tonight's protest follows the big announcement that Rochester Police Chief Laurent Singletary will retire by month's end. Members of his command staff are either retiring with him or moving back to a lower rank.
In an email announcing his retirement, Singletary said outside entities, his word, outside entities tried to destroy his character. Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren said today that she did not ask him to leave, but said that earlier on, she did criticize Singletary, saying he did not give her the full picture of Prude's death in March until August. Christian Garzone live in Rochester right now with reaction to this news. Christian.
Well, Adam, protesters have been calling for this for days, but when it actually happened, the word of the day was surprised. But those we spoke with says whatever you think of Chief Singletary, he's still an outstanding police officer and public official. Just taking in the news of Police Chief Laurent Singletary and the command staff announcing they're stepping down, City Council says they respect Singletary's 20 years on the force and his decision to retire.
Well, I understand that perhaps he's doing what he feels like he needs to do, and we'll continue to do what we feel like we need to do.
Willie Lightfoot says Chief Singletary had a great career and they worked together accomplishing a lot.
Our homicides, as far as 80% arrest rate on homicides, and also looking at repositioning our investigators. A lot of great work.
Gates Police Chief James Van Brederode, who is also the president of the Monroe County Police Chiefs Association, says Singletary stepping down is not surprising given what he's had to go through the past week. He says this is a big blow for the city.
But I can also understand the frustration of trying to be that leader right now, considering everything that's going on. In a year and a half that he was the chief of police, he did more things than most chiefs will ever see in a whole career.
The police union says today they were taken by surprise over Singletary retiring. They say the problem of leadership goes directly to the mayor. They added, quote, "Our members remain focused and committed to serving the citizens of this city despite the lack of support and leadership that we are witnessing coming from our elected officials in City Hall." City Council says even with Singletary stepping down, they remain committed to the change all have been calling for in the streets since the announcement of Prude's death, and will look for a new chief who can bring that to the table.
The systems need to change, and we won't lose focus of that.
Now we're actually at City Hall right now where protesters are gathered calling for Mayor Lovely Warren to step down. Chief Singletary's retirement will be effective on September 29th. From City Hall, Christian Garzone, News 8. Adam Marine, back to you.
All right, Christian, thank you. Our team coverage continues now with Jack Watson, who is also in downtown Rochester tonight. Jack, what have you seen so far?
That's right, Adam. We've been following this protest since it started. Just within the last 15 minutes or so, it moved down Exchange to the direction of City Hall. I want to give you a better picture here. It appears that protesters on bicycles are blocking off the street there so the protest can take place. This is a gathering that began with protesters painting Black Lives Matter on Jefferson Avenue, just steps away from a memorial to Daniel Prude. I also think it's important to note the tone of that gathering when it started on Jefferson Ave. Spirits were high, people were dancing and singing with music was playing. Protesters applauded when a speaker brought up Chief Singletary's retirement. Organizers, though, saying their work isn't done yet. They say they still want Mayor Lovely Warren to resign, as well as a serious structural reform of the Rochester Police Department. That protest began on Dr. Samuel McCree Way and made its way to the Public Safety Building, and now, just within the last 15-20 minutes or so, we are on Church Street, just outside of City Hall, just about a football field down that way there. We will have continuous updates as our newscast continues, but for now, live in Rochester, Jack Watson, News 8.
All right, Jack, thank you. Today, the family of Daniel Prude filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the city of Rochester, Police Chief Singletary, and the officers involved in the encounter that led to Daniel Prude's death. It was filed just hours before Singletary announced his retirement. The Prude family says police officers used excessive force on Mr. Prude, who was naked, handcuffed, wearing a spit shield, and held to the ground just before he lost consciousness last March 23rd. The Prude family alleges City Hall and the RPD tried to cover up Daniel Prude's death, and they're demanding a jury trial. According to the lawsuit, the police department's major crimes unit issued a report on the Prude case April 27th, about 1 month after Prude's encounter with police, and concluded the officers involved did not commit a crime. That meant the officers faced no disciplinary action until after the video of the body camera footage was made public by the Prude family more than 5 months after the incident. On that day, Mayor Lovely Warren suspended the officers with pay and reprimanded the police chief. Warren claimed she was never made aware Prude's death was anything other than a drug overdose, or that the ME had ruled the death a homicide connected to the use of police restraint. Both Warren and Police Chief Singletary have denied a cover-up, citing the investigation by the state attorney general. But the Prude family alleges otherwise and notes that to this day, 3 of the suspended officers have refused to be interviewed for the attorney general's investigation. The lawsuit asks that a federal monitor be appointed to oversee the city's process for investigating officers who use force, and they want a new policy to make sure officers who use force without justification are disciplined. Elliot Shields, an attorney for the Prude family, said today that the resignations of Chief Singletary and command staff are a good first step, the retirements, I should say. He also criticized City Hall for mixed messages about the case. In a statement, Shields said, quote, Mayor Warren and Chief Singletary's claim that the video is horrible ignores their own department's determination. They have failed to address or repudiate their department's conclusion that the officers' actions were appropriate and consistent with their training, which demonstrates a complete lack of leadership. That's why the RPD needs a complete overhaul. There is much work to be done.
And Mayor Lovely Warren did not have much to say on Chief Singletary's retirement today. She made it public in a city council meeting earlier today that members of RPD's command staff would be retiring or stepping aside. A lot of questions were raised and many still remain. This was Mayor Warren earlier today.
While the timing and tenor of these resignations is difficult, we have faced tough times before. I truly believe that we will get through this. I will be meeting with City Council to chart a path forward. I can assure this community that I am committed to instituting the reforms necessary in our police department. I know that there are many questions, but this just occurred, and honestly, I do not have the answers today.
Now, that entire news conference lasted about 90 seconds, and the mayor did not take any questions afterwards. Meanwhile, Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter released a statement today expressing shock over the shakeup of the Rochester Police Department. Baxter said, quote, as your sheriff, I want to reassure the community that we remain steadfast in providing our public safety function. I want to ensure the community that you are still going to be safe, and we are going to provide any public safety the city and the county needs.
President Trump weighed in on Chief Singletary's retirement today while also taking shots at Mayor Warren and the governor. The president said, quote, police chief and most of the police in Rochester, New York have resigned. The Democrat mayor and, of course, his Governor Cuomo have no idea what to do. New York State is a mess, the president tweeted. No money, high taxes, and crime. Everyone fleeing. November 3rd, we can fix it. Well, contrary to that tweet, most of the police have not, in fact, resigned. A good number of them are once again out tonight monitoring the protests downtown. The protests over the Daniel Prude case continue, and the investigation into the case goes on by the state attorney general. This is the second time the president has tweeted about the case, but he has not yet acknowledged Mr. Prude's death. For more information on today's developments and a complete timeline of events from Daniel Prude's death until now, visit rochesterfirst.com.